Matt from the Dice at the Round Table. Thanks for joining me again for this video. This should be the Bulgarian Army Part 4, if I'm correct in my numbering system in my head, as I'm editing these videos and putting them together. I got done what I needed to get done earlier, so it's still the same day of me cleaning these. So I'm getting this together. So I'm going to be doing some green stuff. I'm going to be doing some drilling to get some of these parts to fit a little bit better for what I'm looking at. So come join me at the table as I get to work. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you very much. So this is all time-lapsed, and I also am going to put in the notes below if you want to skip ahead to my reflection on this build. Right now I'm just getting my drill bits out, I'm getting prepped. I have my mug of water that I use for the green stuff. Those are all my little drill bits, and I'm checking the machine gun hole and working on the machine guns first. I did go through 2 different bits to adjust this. This is an old pin vise. This is on my list to get a new one because I don't feel the fit is as good as I would like. I've been working on getting this green stuff mixed up, rolling it out, and getting the hatch area filled in. I did the same thing for the 2 rads, getting a little rolled up strip, making it as neat as possible to get it squared up, rounded at the edges, and then I'll eventually take 2 small pieces and loop it from the green stuff onto the hatch for the lever bit of the action for when the hatch would open. This was definitely the hardest part of the build, is getting these steering wheels in. There's a little hole that the steering wheel can sit into, but I just never felt comfortable. It just didn't hold. So I ended up taking a glob of green stuff, putting it on the back of the steering wheel, attaching it, basically smushing it underneath the dashboard and angling it up so it looked like it was sitting proper and smoothing out the green stuff. You're about to see me do it 3 different times. One of these trucks I even had to keep going back to, the steering wheel kept on falling down a little bit. It did end up drying just fine, and I did a small line of super glue to get the steering wheel or the windshields in place. This is now working on the rads. I am spending a lot of time trying to get the hatches in place. I had to smother out and even out, frame out the hole with green stuff, smooth it out, got the hatches in place, and then really worked hard to smooth it out so it was as flat as possible with the top of the resin mold. And then I spent time to fill in the back half for the piece that would look like it lever, for where it would pivot up to open. I did enjoy a lot working with this. This gave me a lot of confidence. I've done some green stuff. This was probably the most green stuff work I've done to this point. So again, if you're looking at what I'm doing, I'm not a masterpiece or a master person of green stuff. I'm still learning a lot of things, but this is one of the things on my list to master and get better at, is adding some details with green stuff. Just make that choice, and I have a feeling you'll end up doing much better than you think too. I really did simple little things like this to build some confidence with working with it. It's taken me 5 or 6 goes, but I can finally get green stuff not to show my fingerprints, for example. So, baby steps for me. This is working on the light anti-tank gun mounting. It took a lot to... I went bigger than I thought, and I probably could have gone a little bit bigger, but I did get the holes right. I got the back of the guns shaved at the right angle that the fit made sense. A little dab of super glue, and they're holding great. Well, if you hung out, thanks for that. That's what I went through with some of the building of these resin from Blitzkrieg. The hatches on the rads were definitely needing that filler around the edge. And what I did on the tank, which I don't know how well you can see it, as well as the rads, is I did put a roll of green stuff at the back with to make it look like it was a hatch with the little support pieces attaching to the hatch on a round part for the flipping. That way from a distance it gives it just a little bit more instead of it just being flat. Especially on the tank, because on the tank there was this back piece and then there was where the hatch was and there was a gap. So this fills in that little gap well. The machine guns, I did cut down the machine guns if you saw me doing that, because I didn't want them sticking out so far. It's really for an aesthetic on my choice. I just didn't want the machine guns sticking out so far, so I don't know why they had so much, so I cut them down. Again, the hatch had to fill in the gaps because the metal hatch would just fall in. On the metal gun part for the rad, I did turn it like into a point. I was shaving the back half of them, and I had to drill the hole bigger to get it in there. The steering wheels were a nightmare because there's really nothing for them to hook to. There's like a little hole that you're supposed to glue it to. I kind of did some green stuff to support it underneath. So I was thinking about trying to put drivers in. I don't know if I'm going to do that now. And maybe I should have put the drivers in before I did the steering wheels, but I may not do drivers. I don't know yet. But either way, this is the first time I've really got into this because it is, I wanted this to have a flavor. I know I have spare parts around for some stowage and like jerry cans, so I'm definitely going to attach some more jerry cans to some of the vehicles to add a little bit more flavor. But right now I wanted the super glue to dry, I wanted the green stuff to dry and harden, and then we're going to see what other extra bits I can add to the vehicles. Thanks for checking out. Thanks for hanging with me. The build time on this was about 50 minutes, so 50 minutes plus about 30 minutes of cleaning. I have my vehicles ready to go in an hour 20. And if I was building these, because I've built Rubicon trucks and tanks, sometimes my build time is like 20 to 30 minutes per. So having 6 vehicles, I mean, this definitely saved me time. And I really do just like how they look. I mean, because they have the stowage molded on already, so it has some flavor, I'm going to add some more. I'm really excited to see how these go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and leave comments if you have them and let me know. I'm excited. Definitely I would say if you're new to it and you're not really sure about your hobby skills, stick with Rubicon or Warlord kits. These did require a little bit more work. Thanks again.